I am Nisha Charles.
And I am Desmond Joseph.
And we are your presenters for today. Thank you for joining us for SAT TV News. Among the major developments, American student dies in boating accident.
Former Caribbean diplomat awarded Order of Australia.
Japan orders tunnel inspection after Sasanga collapse.
And in sports, KFC Harlem United keeps their title hopes alive with a much-needed victory in Granby.
Details of these and other stories after the break. Thank you for staying with us. Now for the details of the news. The White Equivalent Entrepreneurs Levy Group held its third annual Emerging Entrepreneurs and Business Mentor Retreat last week, and on Friday, November 30th, held its graduation ceremony. 25 businesses are now in operation from 45 graduates of the WELL program. Mr. John Roach, Chief Youth Development Officer, says in 2011, Dominica was among the top 5 nominees in the world for the Champion Catalyzer Award as part of Global Entrepreneurship Week for Program Impact.
And that particular program that was selected as Program Impact for being one of the 5 top nominees from 123 countries is the WELL Entrepreneurs Retreat. And I think we should give WELL a round of applause for this. So when we're talking about branding, and I'm sure during the course of the week you heard a lot about branding, the DYBT WELL brand is an excellent brand.
Mr. Ivan Fontaine, WELL graduate 2012, says habits such as being punctual, on time, and disciplined are those that will help them succeed in business. He says the WELL program is essential for anyone wishing to start a business or those who are interested in keeping the economy going.
Growing up in school, you hear fellas say, well, drugs alone need to have in school, nothing else to it, that you can make it fun. But that's not true. WELL give you a chance to have an idea. You can come with an idea. You don't need a full plan. You don't need to know about business, all the complications of business. You start at WELL, they give you have an idea, they teach you why the process, the steps that is required to develop that idea into a full-grown business, into a plan, and the importance of having a business plan. I used to think a business plan was a thing, you need to get a loan, you hand them people money, so you can bring a business plan, you take their money. But that is a guideline, that thing you can refer to it from time to on steps away. When you get to hard times, you go back to your plan.
The keynote speaker for the graduation ceremony was Mr. Alan Chastanet, a former Minister of Tourism in St. Lucia and chairman of Coco Plum Hotel. In his life, he has had incredible stories of business at its best and ways that one can overcome the odds and work hard at what they do with a successful business plan. He says success is where preparedness meets opportunity.
And in some cases, you can create your own opportunity. You never know when that opportunity is going to come by. If you're committed to success, and if you're not scared of taking chances, and if you're not scared of stepping out of the box, you'll never know when you can develop something that's going to become successful. Ever. My father, uneducated, worked, asked questions, built the first shopping mall. Who would have known that he would have ended up in the grocery store business?
He encourages the graduates to work hard at their craft, research and prepare for their futures. Only then will they be successful at whatever they want to achieve in life.
And in more local news, Chairman of the Wharton Waven Development Committee, Mr. Rudolph George, who is also one of the coordinators of the Sulphur Splash 2012, is of the view that Sulphur Splash 2012 was indeed a success. The event, which was held in the community of Wharton Waven, commenced on Sunday, November 25th, came to a close on Sunday, December 2nd. Mr. George pointed out that every year they have been hosting the event, it has been growing steadily.
Our main goal and reasons for celebrating Sulphur Splash is to highlight the development or the talent and culture of the villages of Wharton Waven, and to make Dominicans and the world by extension be aware that Wharton Waven is there and the products or the achievement, the goals that we have here in Wharton Waven, that persons can get to know what we have here.
Mr. Judge says Wharton Waven should be popular for not just the sulfur springs, but the talent of the villagers in the arts and craft work that they do. He said this should not be the hidden but highlighted to continue promoting the community. This was exactly what they did as they hosted an exhibition on Sunday, December 2nd at the Wharton Waven Tourist Reception Center, where the artisans' work was on display.
For things that persons used to use before here are still being used. So, for instance, we have the oku, which is a food coloring, which was once used long ago. Today, very few people use that food coloring. Trust me, I believe it's much more healthier than the other artificial coloring that we purchased, because you go to the tree, you pick a couple of that, you squeeze it in a little water, and that's it. You get a very good coloring. Actually, the Caribs once upon a time used to use it as mask for their faces.
Mr. Judge says that Summer Splash will definitely be an annual event as it brings out the talent of the young persons and villagers alike. The Wharton Waven Development Committee chairman said if this event is continuously celebrated, Wharton Waven will be a completely different community as it unites the villagers who are educating them.
For instance, during the course of the week, we had dental health, lecture on dental health, general health, agritourism, and then we tried, and also law and order, and we try to get properly resource persons from all over and bring them in to lecture the people so the people can understand the way of life. And this is our goal, to educate our people, to bring them together, and in order that we celebrate our togetherness. That's why our theme for this year is In Harmony We Strive.
He says the unity of the community is very important when hosting any activity, and as such, the Wharton Waven Development Committee executive ensures the community is always involved in all what they do. Mr. Judge highlighted that the tourism industry is very important, hence the reason they held an agro-tourism lecture, as many villages' income are based on the tourist spending and agriculture. A prize-giving ceremony was also held in addition to the exhibition, where Mrs. Delmer Charles, Mr. Richardson Charles, and Mr. Brian Damier received secretary awards. The Vice President Award went to Mr. Clement Pierre Lewis and Mr. Nathaniel Allen, while the President Award went to Mr. Rudolph George. And in more local news, the regional training course on marine casualty and incident investigation was held on Monday for 2012. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Public Works, Energy and Ports, Mr. Kendall Johnson says the program will proceed for the next 2 weeks.
The IMO is a permanent international body established to promote maritime safety by developing international regulations to be followed by shipping nations. It is a special agency of the United Nations which is responsible for measures to improve safety and security of international shipping and to prevent marine pollution from ships.
This body is made up with at least 170 member states. The primary objective of the training course is to assist maritime administrators within the Caribbean region. It also helps to harmonize procedures for the investigations in marine casualty accidents.
In addition, the information on the latest developments of the Casualty Investigation Code will be shared. The objective of this code is to provide a common approach for states to adopt the conduct of marine safety investigations into marine casualties and marine accidents. The part played by marine accident investigators in the march towards improved safety and environmental protection, along with the introduction of higher standards in shipping, has always been a very important one.
IMO representative Mr. Marcel Ayeko noted that there is support abroad for this course.
There's 20 dedicated maritime officials from 14 regional administrations are assembled here today to participate in this course. For the next 2 weeks, they will be developing new friendship, building a solid regional investigative network with their colleagues.
Honorable Rayburn Blackmore, Minister for Public Works, Energy and Ports, says, without any doubt, shipping is the most practical and reliable way of doing transnational trips.
And it seems to me, therefore, that each member state has the responsibility to ensure that international standards and best practices insofar as security and safety are concerned are maintained at every level. In that regard, therefore, safety of life at sea must be the hallmark of all administrators and maritime practitioners.
And in unfortunate news, one family is in a state of mourning as they lost their daughter over the weekend in a boating accident. The deceased has been identified as 22-year-old Casey Shulman, who is a student of the University of Virginia, the UVA, in the United States. Acting Police Relations Officer of the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force, Inspector Richmond Valentine, has more details.
On Saturday, December 1, 2012, about 7 a.m., Casey Shulman arrived in Dominica on cruise liner Explorer Isle Adventure. She was among a group of 54 students who were observing their semester at sea. About 9 a.m., they went snorkeling in the Soufriere area with Anchorage dive dogs on boat named Passion and at the time captained by Andrew Armour. Following their trip to Soufriere, they sailed to Mero Beach, and on arrival about 2:30 p.m., some of them entered the water while others remained on the boat and the beach.
The captain, Mr. Andrew Armour, who after loading some food supplies on the boat was moving the vessel astern when the propeller made contact with Miss Shulman. As a result, she sustained multiple injuries all over her body. She was then transported to the Princess Margaret Hospital by the fire and ambulance personnel, where she was pronounced dead by a doctor. The body is now stored at the PMH mortuary, where it will remain pending a post-mortem examination, and investigation in the death continues. And with the knowledge that science, mathematics and technology are essential to a country's overall development, Sagicor hosted its Young Visionaries Workshop on Friday, November 30th, 2012. It has been proven that exposure to these subjects results in the development of individuals who are critical thinkers, who are able to apply knowledge and skills to solve problems in their localized context. Dr. Jeffrey Blaise, Assistant Chief Education Officer, believes that student performance in areas of science and technology is cyclical in nature.
However, the cycle begins with efficient, knowledgeable, and enthusiastic teachers. Students perform best in classrooms where real and meaningful learning takes place. There is quite possibly no other subject in all our curriculum that lends itself as readily to relevance and applicability as the area of science and technology.
The Ministry of Education fully supports the efforts of Sagicor and the Caribbean Science Foundation in hosting the workshop. At the workshop, they launched the Sagicor Visionaries Challenge, with the Caribbean Examination Council being a partner. They would like to see it being used in school-based assessments. Dr. Jean Badenoch, who represents the Caribbean Science Foundation, says the challenge is targeted towards secondary school students where they need to identify a challenge facing their community, where they would use STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to come up with a sustainable solution.
Students from Dominica are going to submit online, and we'll tell you about that process in a minute, their entries for this project. They will send in to us their challenges and their actual solutions that are sustainable according to the rules of the challenge. We are not asking any of the schools to implement any of the actual solutions. This is just an exercise where we want them to be creative and bring their ideas as to how they could actually solve their problems. So it doesn't need to be implemented, it just needs to be implementable. And what we are really hoping is that someone will look at these projects, especially at a local level, and say, we can actually sponsor some of these projects.
They hope that corporate entities within the countries can assist with the projects. If Dominica wins the regional competition, they will win $5,000 towards their school.
Should your team actually win nationals, we'll be taking this 7-day trip. And in addition to a number of other places of interest, these are where we would actually like to visit. The first one I want to say is at the Kennedy Space Center, there is a Trinidadian who's working as an astronaut there, and we're going to have lunch with her and then a tour of the Space Center. So that brings in an aspect that I don't think very many people may get to experience outside of this program. We're also going to visit the Museum of Science and History. They have, in addition to the Hurricane Stimulator, which I think we would be very interested in seeing, and that would bring in aspects of geography, let's say.
You can go to sagigovisionaries.org to get more information on the project.
And in more news, the formal launching of Kalibishi Golden Age Group CGAG Environment Conservation Project was held on Sunday, December 2nd at the Kalibishi Resource Center. The project name is entitled Conserving Biodiversity and Enabling Climate Change Resilience in the coastal village of Kalibishi, with traditional practices including planting of wedges for fencing using selected species.
We are launching the project for beautification of our community, undertaken by the Senior Citizen Group. Today is a special day for all senior citizens of this community. It's a special day in the sense that we are going to prove to our community, people, members of our community and the island, that we can do great things and that we can undertake such a project to do wonders in our community.
Coordinator Mrs. Virginia Peters says, with a population of 1,020 in the community, 150 people falls under the term senior citizen. Mrs. Peters also added that many elderly people in Kalibishi are healthy.
And they are still able to work. Though the likelihood of illnesses become greater as we age. As we age, we tend to have more pains and ache. We suffer with high blood pressure, diabetes, heart condition, cancer, and many other non-communicable diseases. Health is not only a state of physical and well-being, but also mental and spiritual, and your social needs to be taken care of.
On February the 20th, 2010, the group was formed with a membership of 45 people. Mrs. Peters added that their objectives are countless. They provide social support for each other. Parliamentary representative of the village, Honorable Matthew Walter, says he applauds the Golden Age Group.
I want, first of all, to commend the Senior Citizens Group, because you all have realized that I not die now. I die now. Huh? I die now? No, you're alive. You are alive. Okay, and you still have energy, and you still can make a substantial contribution to Kalibishi and to Dominica. And this is why you have decided not to permanently retire on your bed.
He also complimented the elderly for taking on the project of their tree planting, although some people may criticize.
They say, nous voulons mettre place en bois encore. But there are many people who do not know the importance of trees. You know what I mean? Trees have a multiplicity of importance. Because if it were not for the trees, maybe today you'd be crying, you have no water to bathe, you have no water to clean, you have no water to drink. It's the trees. We have to thank the trees. And we have to thank those persons before you.
Mr. Walters says that they are trying to create a habitat for the wildlife.
One of the great black leaders who have fought for the advancement of black people, Minister Louis Farrakhan, gave a lecture to the students of the Dominica State College on December 3, 2012. Some of his first words to the group of students at the college were to offer peace to one another as we enter the future of this new world. He says that when he has become of age, he would like to look back and see a world where young people will strive to make it a better place to live.
Education is not a privilege. Education is a human right. I'm going to say that again, because some of us think like elitists that we deserve a college education so we can say to those who are not trained in college, I'm better than you because I graduated from the state college. Wrong. Education belongs to every human being on our planet. Why? Because knowledge is the thing that separates man from beast.
He says language is of a state of mind, and if we call one another as less than we are, then we will treat one another as less than who they are. He touched on the subject of sex and says that sex is what God has given to us to procreate, but we are abusing it for pleasure.
Did you know that the greatest pleasure of a human being is to see something in your mind, in a vision, and then work your mind to bring what you envision into reality? When there's an architect who brings you the picture of a building, and there's a contractor that brings that vision into reality, the architect may go down the street and say, yes, I designed that building. And the contractor can say, yes, I built that building.
He advised the students that they should never leave the college with the thought that the education they receive makes them better than the person that does not get one. He asked them to remember, to whom much is given, much is required.
You have to get in your mind right now, I'm going to get this education, and I'm going to help the Caribbean to develop. I'm not leaving to go to America. I'm not leaving to go to the United Kingdom or to France. I'm going to stay here and develop this land, that it will be able to feed me, clothe me, shelter me when America and England have lost their way. And they are losing their way as we speak.
And it was a packed night of excitement and calypso at the Harlem Plaza on Saturday, December 1st, as the Dominica Cooperative Movement held its first ever calypso competition. Speaking at the open ceremony of the competition, Minister of Social Services, Community Development and Gender Affairs, Mrs. Gloria Shillingford, stated cooperatives are very important to national development. She also commended the management and staff of the cooperative movement for the idea of this calypso competition.
Calypso has traditionally been used as a vehicle for social commentary, but as a promotion tool for cooperatives, this is certainly innovative.
The cooperative movement calypso competition was organized as part of the organization's celebration of International Year of Cooperatives. She said the objective was to enlighten and heighten public awareness of the numerous opportunities for development which exist for development in the cooperative model of business. Mrs. Shillingford pointed out that it will also bring greater focus on the potential of cooperatives for fostering economic growth, hence national development.
The cooperative movement in Dominica has grown tremendously. In addition to the established financial cooperatives, recent years have brought about the increasing emergence of non-financial cooperatives, among them fisheries, agriculture, and multipurpose cooperatives. These provide excellent development opportunities for small groups in rural communities.
The show started off with Renick Toussaint singing a song dedicated to a cooperative movement, which was followed by the first competitor, Leona Peters, singing Power to the Movement. As the competition proceeded, the crowd was thoroughly entertained. There was never a dull moment with the Master of Ceremony, Val Youngbull Coffey and Peter Prosper. At the end of the night's competition, there could only be one winner, former two-time Calypso monarch of Dominica, Gregory Caressa Revere.
All hands on deck, working together. Nothing better, nothing better. met and you may still have merit. Oh, tell Edison and Skerrit, nothing better than the cooperative spirit. Nothing better, nothing better. Nothing better. Tell them. Nothing better. Tell them.
Mr. Rivera won with a song entitled The Cooperative Spirit from the field of 14 competitors, which earned him $7,000 cash. 2012 Q Talents show winner Rachel John Baptist placed second with her song Unless We Believe.
That was when we saw each other, eye to eye. We worked dedicatedly to build this country. So let's spread the word of the cooperative philosophy. You and I share a common purpose together. Unless we believe the word that we were born to live as one. Unless we believe we join hands, we can prosper now and forever. Unless we believe that our very existence is based on this philosophy. And if you believe in me, brother, I believe in you, sister. That's the reason why you and I can make it if we try. If we try.
Reigning junior monarch Janae Jackson came third with her song Join Our Cooperative.
You need to know people that know people. It's that's not their principle. Once your business is viable, they are able to help you. Want to be an entrepreneur? Come brother, have no fear. Be cooperative is here.
Other competitors included The Bob, Man himself, Vigilant, Benno, Checo, Swallow, Big Jeff, and QTS finalist Leona Peters. Here is a clip of Mr. Rivera performing his song after the win.
They complain about that, but never tell you that it's the only spirit government don't have. Nothing better, nothing better. One man, one vote, one decision. Nothing better, nothing better. All hands on them, working together. Nothing better, nothing better. Good men and two days still have merit. So, tell Edison and Skerrit, come on, nothing better than the cooperative. Thank you very much. I love you, Dominica. I look forward to 19th. Thank you, thank you. Love you. Thank you very much for this time.
This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.